Hey everyone, Kitty King TV here, and today we're going to be talking about all the classes that will be available for the NA and EU release of Lost Ark. First up, we have our warriors, the Berserker melee class. Berserkers are always powerful warriors with their high damage, great sword attacks, and potent defense, but when they enter their burst mode, they're all but unstoppable in this heightened state. They gain increased attack and movement speed and unlock a special skill that delivers a world of hurt to their enemies. Now, the Berserker, it seems like it's going to be pretty sick in PvP. I'm so excited to see what some of these Berserkers come up with and what they do when Lost Ark releases. I can't wait to see kind of the combos and the efficiency they bring with this class. Yeah, the Berserker is looking pretty sick though, and can't wait to see some of those players out here in PvE just stomping through all the content, going insane, going ham. Next up in the warrior category, we have Gunlancer. As the first line of defense, Gunlancers take the brunt of enemy attacks with their defensive stance and battlefield shield to keep the rest of their party safe. While their gun lance is a formidable weapon, their true value delivers from their ability to protect allies and absorb damage like a sponge. That looks like your traditional tanky tank boy, you know what I'm saying? Lots of HP, lots of armor, absorb all the damage. Now this class as well looks sick when it comes to heavy hitting, slow tanking, absorbing damage. This is gonna be your main tank. It looks like this is a class that I highly look forward to having on my team. Next up, we have the Paladin. Now, this is looking like a pretty sick, kind of tanky-ish support class. Paladins have a direct line to the powers of the gods, channeling their ancient might into potent offensive and defensive moves alike. They can use holy skills and buffs with the Holy Book to support their teams from behind, or wield a sword and bring punishing skills to bear on the front lines. I feel like they could absorb quite a bit of damage. They have their defensive buffs or whatnot, but they also have their heals and their damage buffs for the team, and it looks like they can also dish out quite a bit of damage themselves. So this class looks pretty sick. It's more of like a supporty type class, so I can't wait to see some of the buffing that goes on with this class and some of the abilities it brings out, and what it brings for in-game players in terms of rating and PvP. The support it brings and the benefits it brings to parties. I can't wait to see how much it impacts the game. That's going to be it for the warrior classes that we are getting on release. Next up, however, we are going to have the martial arts class. All right, the martial artist class. All right, we got a couple here. The first one is going to be Soul Fist. Now, this class absolutely looks pretty darn cool. They have some sick looking abilities. The Soul Fist switches between melee and range attacks, which can be used together for explosively powerful combos. They channel a special energy called Adamants, which they can imbue into abilities or use to sustain themselves through fights. Now, as you can see by their absolutely sick abilities, it seems like you got a lot of combos doing with range and melee, up close and far away. You could do a lot of variants, but they have the sick Kamehameha looking ability that is just absolutely like devastating. It looks absolutely sick. So this class, I can't wait to see the flashiness of it later on once release comes out and people are, going ham with their Soul Fist. Next up on the martial artist list is the War Dancer. Now, this class is going to look like my personal favorite when it comes to the martial artist class, at least. Not merely masters of martial arts, War Dancers augment their lightning-quick fighting skills with elemental power. They can store up elemental energy to unleash in devastating attacks and gravity-defying maneuvers. So they got a lot of flair to them. It looks like they got a lot of aerial looking combos and gravity defying stuff. This class definitely looks pretty sick. I heard their buffs are pretty good too. When it comes to the martial artist class, this one personally I think is looking the juiciest in my opinion, at least for my taste. Next martial artist we got going on here is going to be the Scrapper. Armed with a heavy gauntlet, Scrappers draw on 2 inverse forms of attack energy that feed off each other to deliver non-stop destruction. With excellent attack, defense, mobility, and lasting power, they're well balanced enough to throw enemies off their guard. So I feel like the Scrapper is like, you know, you got a little bit of this, you got a little bit of that. You got attack power and you got some defensive power on your side. I think out of all the martial artists, they're kind of like the tankiest, but they also hit hard as well. So the Scrapper is kind of cool if you like to play that kind of well-balanced class while also, you know, punching things with ginormous huge fist made of scrap. Their claws, their fists look absolutely insane. So that's the Scrapper class. Last but not least on our martial artist list, we have the Striker melee class. The Striker. Striker is a martial artist class that attacks enemies like a strong wind. Since he is equipped with a variety of physical skills with fast movement, he displays splendid aerial combos after hitting enemies quickly and uses powerful elemental skills to turn the battle. So I feel like this is your traditional monk. You know what I'm saying? He goes up, he does some punches, does some kicks, and he's got some sick ass, you know, aerial combinations that's going on here. Shout out to everybody that's going to be playing the Striker class. Now firing on in, we have the Gunner class. All right, the Gunners. Now, Gunners are going to hold a place in my heart, but it's not the class I'm going to play off the start. However, we start off with Deadeye. With their flexible, triple-wielding playstyle and brash attitudes, you might mistakenly suppose that this rough-and-tumble rogue has a death wish. They do, but don't worry, it's just for their opponents. They can choose the most effective weapon from an arsenal that includes a double handgun, shotgun, and a rifle. Now, this class, man, it was tough. It was definitely on my list of, should I play this first? I think I might go with this. It just looks so sick. The abilities, the AoE, the possibilities of switching between, you know, handgun, shotgun, rifle, and then back and forth and comboing enemies like that is super cool to me. I feel like anybody that chooses Deadeye won't be disappointed when they choose this. If it's their first class they play, or if they decide to switch to it later, I feel like they're gonna like it. Next up, we have the Artillerist. Now, this is the big boy of the Gunner class. This is the boom class. You know what I'm saying? They got them nukes. Artillerists believe in firepower and lots of it, blasting their enemies with some of the biggest guns under the sun. They may not be the most mobile fighters, but they make up for it their lack of agility with huge mechanical launchers and other hard-hitting weapons, heavy armor, and incredible destructive force. Now, if you want to go in Lost Ark, right, and just nuke some boys, you know what I'm saying? Just nuke the enemy with huge guns, huge firepower. This is the class for you. Plus, they're on the tankier side when it comes to the Gunner class, right? They're not as mobile as the other Gunners are going to be, but they make up for it with that armor, of course, and that huge firepower, right? So when it comes to that burst damage, whether it's AoE or bursting down single target, you know, enemies, they're just gonna throw everything they have at you. So if this is your type of play style, you know, you like that big burst damage, you know, maybe Artillerist is going to be the class you're playing. I mean, come on, look at these boys. These big, beefy boys with big, beefy guns, bruh. If I see you in game and you're an Artillerist and you looking at me the wrong way, I ain't going towards you. I'm going away from you. So shout out to all the people that are going to dig deep and play that Artillerist class and, you know, like that type of play style. You know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all in game. Coming up next on the Gunner list is the Sharpshooter, your traditional bow and arrow. What would be an MMO without an archer, dude? Come on, like, really? Sharpshooters are ranged attackers who use mechanical bows with special arrows that have custom effects. Their high survivability and agility keep them in the fight for the long haul, and their stealthy machinations are excellent for exploiting enemy weaknesses. Now, this class looks pretty sick. I was actually quite tempted, but I decided it wasn't for me off the start. However, the fact that they use like a mechanical bow, I find that to be like pretty sick. They are on the squishier side. So if you decide to go with this class, you're going to have to learn boss and enemy mechanics and attacks a bit better than other players because you're not going to be wanting to take that damage, but he got that stealth that'll help you out with it. Last but certainly not least, on the gunner side of things, we have our Gunslinger. Now this is going to be my personal favorite on the gunner class. She just looks so sick. I mean, come on, let's be honest. The things you can do with the Gunslinger class with the oh my goodness, just so stylish. With a gun for every occasion and the ability to switch between them quickly, gunslingers are deadly opponents at any range. Light on their feet thanks to their cat-like reflexes, gunslingers are hard to pin down and quick to unload a flurry of shots and an unwary foe. On an unwary foe. So if that foe ain't paying attention, he gonna get the blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? The blapinator from the Gunslinger. I mean, just look at some of these abilities. Absolutely sick, absolutely devastating. I feel like the plays and like just the play style in general, the things you could probably do with the Gunslinger is so sick. Alrighty, now we're getting into some mages, you feel me? Getting into some sorcerer, you know what I'm saying? Next up is the mages, all right? First, we have our bard. Now, I was so tempted to just play bard once the release came out. I was so tempted, but I didn't want to, like, I don't know, man. The bard seems so sick. This is going to be your traditional healer, right? This is going to be your traditional support class, the closest thing that's going to come to it in Lost Ark. Virtuosus of the Lian Harp, bards can evoke soothing serenades to heal their team or unleash a chorus of pain on their unfortunate foes. Their attack power is rather low, but their ability to support allies make them a harmonious part of any team. Basically saying you are going to want a bard on your team, whether it's for raiding, whether it's for PvP. You're going to want a bard, right? Because they're going to be supporting you. They're going to be healing you. They're going to be buffing you. It's going to be the same as a paladin. You know, you're going to want that support on your team. This class, I mean, some of the combos you could do with it. Listen, don't underestimate bard or the damage because this class looks absolutely sick. And it even had me kind of swooning over it, debating if I wanted to play the bard class. Next up on our mages, we have the Sorceress. Now, the Sorceress wields powerful magic based on 3 elements. With spells that can deal area damage, they can easily handle multiple enemies, helping them dominate the battlefield. So again, when we come into that AoE, who we gonna call? The Artillerist. No! We're gonna call the Sorcerers. Well, the Artillerist too, but come on now. Sorceress, Mage, you know, they got that big AoE magic damage coming out. So if you like to just absolutely thrash mobs with different types of elements, water, fire, electricity, you know, the Sorceress might be for you. Now, I played mages in lots of games, but man, the Sorceress in this game, looking pretty sick, you know what I'm saying? Giant meteors, you know, just sending waves of water horses at people and lightning bolts and all that jazz, right? Sorcerer is looking pretty good, looking pretty solid, and will probably be a fine addition to any team, especially when it comes to cutting down those massive mobs of enemies. I mean, just look at the meteor showers, the freezing of the enemies, you're dashing behind them, blowing them up with fire, lava, all that juice, man. The Sorcerer, like, this is the class you want to do. If you're into mages, if you're into all that magic stuff, this is the class obviously you're probably going to be going into, feeding into all your stuff, all your you can going into this, and you know the only thing that's expected of you is to blow up enemies. Like literally just put a circle on your enemy and blow them up. So yeah, you know, shout out to everybody that's going to be playing the Sorcerer if you decide to go that class. All right, we are here. Sneaky breaky, you know what I'm saying? It is time for the assassins to show themselves. First up on the assassin list, you already know, we have the one and only Deathblade. Now, I bet you guys have been wondering at this point, okay, well, you say you want to play this and you want to play that, kitty, but what class are you going to play? And Say less. The Deathblade is what piqued my interest the most. Deathblade is an assassin class that uses a total of 3 swords that they wield alongside the power of chaos to swiftly slash their foes. The fast-paced combo attacks from the light dual swords and the long sword overpower enemies, leading to death by 1,000 cuts. Now, doesn't that just sound absolutely sick, absolutely amazing? The fact that this class is just so stylish, so quick, so speedy, oh my goodness, it stole my heart right away. I can't wait to dive in on release and just go ham on enemies and just figure out all sorts of different builds with the Deathblade. Next up on the assassin list that we'll be getting on release as well is going to be our Shadowhunter. Now, I would be lying if I said this class didn't pique my interest as well. It just had a few things that wasn't personalized, or I personally didn't like in account, but it's still a sick looking class all the less. Shadowhunters prefer to beat the demons at their own game. They can shapeshift into powerful demonic forms to unleash chaotic power. When their inner demon is unleashed, Shadowhunters get access to incredible destructive power and increased health and movement speed. Now, hear this again. When their inner demon is unleashed, they gain access to incredible destructive power, health, and movement. You're going to be flying around tanky as hell doing big dick damage with the Shadowhunter. So if that doesn't pique your interest, I don't know what will. Guys, my name is Kitty King TV. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all on release.